Happy Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Monday evening, whenever you're listening. Today, we're going to talk about 7 tips for dealing with your inner critic. Everybody's got one. Newsflash. 7 tips for dealing with your inner critic. So let me ask you a question. Were you ever about to do something, and then suddenly that voice inside your head starts talking? Why did you do that? You're a bad person. No one wants to talk to you. You'll never be anything in life. That negative voice inside your head that judges, criticizes, and demeans you is your inner critic. Your inner critic plays a critical role in how you see yourself and your self-esteem. Everybody matters. All of my coaching clients know that that's one of my mantras. When you don't know how to deal with your inner critic, though, you can feel ashamed, worthless, or low, or actually everything. Self-esteem is terrible if you let it. Your inner critic might undermine your every accomplishment, even if you do something good, or might show up as you enter a room of people that you've never met before. That harsh inner critic can lead to self-doubt and lack of confidence. That's part of the success trajectory, action, attitude, approach. And self-doubt and inner critic is a big part of that. When you let your inner critic control too many of your actions, it could hold you back from things like growth, connection, or even potentially success. I see and hear people all the time that have a win or have a success, but they're a yeah, but it could have done this, or yeah, but I could have done that. Even though the way we think influences how we behave, those thoughts we have are not always true. If someone feels insecure and believes no one wants to talk to them, how charismatic do you think they will be in the social setting? Follow some of these strategies here that I've written down, done some research, had some talks with people that have overcome this, and take control. So acknowledge and understand that when negative thoughts come up, acknowledge your thoughts. That's okay. Try to understand the source of where they came from, though. Right? How old do I feel right now? Why do I feel this way? What are some patterns I can recognize? Where do these thoughts come from? How do these thoughts affect my behavior? What advice would you give a friend if they felt that way? That's always a good one. If a friend came to you in the same situation as you feel, what advice would you give them? Many times, we're harder on ourselves than we would be on others. Separate facts from feelings. Your brain might be hardwired to think that no one wants to talk to you or that you're a bad person. But is that actually a fact, or is that your inner critic? Practice sorting the thoughts out and facts out in your feelings. What is another more positive way you could look at that particular situation? Self-practice, acceptance, self-compassion is huge. Replace negative or critical thoughts with accepting and using compassionate ones. Have a selection of empowering, compassionate beliefs that you can tell yourself instead of succumbing to the negative ones. I know this stuff sounds crazy or witchcrafty or too simple, but sometimes we overcomplicate this stuff. Write down positive thoughts, right? The old positive affirmations. When your inner critic comes out, what is it saying? How can you challenge them? How can you debate them, right? You ever walked into a room with a really negative person? My challenge is there's no competition for me, because we will debate the positive versus the negative every time. Write down the times in your life that people have said positive things about you, right? People say good things about you. Focus on your strengths and what you're good at. Distract yourself when you start replaying mistakes in your head about stuff that you've done. Have you ever made a mistake and replayed those moments over and over and over and over? That doesn't resolve the issue. If you find you're ruminating instead of actively problem solving, distract yourself from thoughts by doing things that bring you joy. This is what I do. Take a walk, read a book, listen to a podcast, play a game, play my guitar. Play with my dog. Just take time and remind yourself that everyone has an inner critic. I promise. Everybody does. Have an inner critic is a human function. It comes from the parts of your brain that evolved to protect yourself. If you find that you're in a loop of critical thoughts, remind yourself that every human experiences self-doubt at some point or another in their head. Everybody, every living human being has it. I promise. They use it as a crutch or an excuse. Your inner critic does not have to control what you do on your path. Taking these steps to silence that mean inner critic and nurture more empowering inner dialogue can help you grow and expand your horizons, and it'll help you help others. Because then you're an example. There's a difference between that harmful voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough and wanting to improve yourself. We have enough real people telling us we suck, right? Don't let the guy in your head do it too. Use these tips above to silence your inner critic so that you can reach your full potential. You can be happy. You can do anything that you want. I have to remind myself of this every day. Again, I'm sharing, I'm not telling. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got an inner critic. And mine contracts and expands all the time. And usually I use that as a moment to kind of decipher why that's happening. The inner critic gets bigger when I realize that I have people in my sphere that I don't need in my sphere that start feeding that inner critic. They're giving him the ammo that he needs to bring me down. Remember, you don't want to wrestle a pig in the mud because the pig likes it. He's in his element. So again, I hope you guys have a great day. Be safe, take care, sell a bunch, say something nice to somebody.